break it on down. Use dirt, composting. Get that out of the way. Sorry. I'm not gonna eat any. And I'm drinking tea, but it's not compost tea, although you can make it and it's great for your garden. That's definitely not what I got going on. And so I'll just show you right behind me here. We got this pile. It's just this wire, a couple stakes, and this pile of stuff. Looks like just leaves and grass and stuff is all you can see. Is all you really want to see. You want everything else layered up inside of that. And so it's pretty simple. Composting is pretty simple, but a lot of people don't get it. And it's like gardening from the ground up. Ground level, this is like how you make the ground level. And make it good and keep things sustainable. And it's just how we give back the dead, the useless, the lifeless. And it's gonna be food matter, you know, take food scraps, make real food, take your peels, take your cores, take your whatevers, your extras, and throw it in a pile on the ground. You know, and then you're gonna wanna cover it with dry, dead, like leaf matter, grass and stuff. Excuse me. Ah, so glowy. And yeah, it's kind of nice. You know, you can make a space with two next to each other to just have that stuff available if you want to. You don't want to have too much grass in a pile because there's off-gassing, but to layer, it really helps. And if you can get it when it's dry and dead already, it's pretty cool. And it's going to help keep the bugs out, you know, to have that layer on. It's also going to help it break down properly and become good compost. It's all about those layers. And, you know, cut, peel stuff, whatever, take all the extras, layer it up. Take that dry leaf and straw and whatever, put that on top. And that's one of those things where I feel like it makes sense to have plants growing around your compost area. Like comfreys and alfalfa, a lot of people grow just to put in the compost because it brings all the minerals up to the top. The comfrey is going to help it all break down a lot faster. Greenlight's got these nettles here. There's all kinds of things you could put around it to help, you know, that you could just throw in as that top layer, especially that comfrey, and that's what I know a lot of people do. And finally got it going at my parents and put some in, and it just breaks down so fast. It makes it this black, you know, it's kind of sludgy when it's doing its thing, but it would be great if you get proper compost broken down. That's going to be incredibly complex. You know, like handfuls of dirt, and there's how many, like billions of life forms. There's so many more life forms in like bacteria and microbes and mycelium and all that in a handful of dirt than there are humans on the planet. It's just there's so much going on. There's a lot you can do. You can get real complicated with how you do composting. There's a lot of people I know have gone and taken courses and read a bunch about it and gotten really into it and made it really complicated and understand the process really well, and that's great. I'm all about it. I love that. But if you don't, and you know, you just know how to make a pile of stuff, this is it's great. There's so many nutrients in like peels and pithy cores and whatever, the leftovers, the scraps if you're cooking real food. And if you just work on giving that back, you're going to be putting those nutrients and those enzymes and all the good bacteria and stuff back into your soil, which then is going to help that place thrive. You know, if we're always just taking out and we take all the leaf matter out of the yard and all the sticks out of the yard and then prune a bunch of things and cut a bunch of things and harvest a bunch of food or whatever it is, and then never give back, how are there supposed to be nutrients there still? We've taken them all and a lot of times thrown them away, and a lot of plant matter just gets to be trash. People think of it as trash, and it gets to be put in with all this toxic stuff in big piles and big holes, which makes no sense to my thinking. And your yard is actually losing all those nutrients because you're throwing them away. That leaf matter, that grass, the sticks, all of it, none of that is trash. Sticks are gonna take a lot longer. I've had some big old piles of sticks that took years to really break down properly, and you can put some little stuff in there, but it's nice. It's great when it does. It's this rich, dark, wonderful, fluffy stuff, and a lot of people don't like that because then, a lot of dead wood's gonna bring bugs, in which we used to just burn it. I feel like that's part of what people are here for, is to do that for the forest, to clean it up. We got that relationship with the fire, and I feel like it's a lot healthier for us to be going and finding that firewood and gathering up that dead stuff and burning it. But that's not where a lot of us are at, and some people don't think that's quite healthy for our world with there being so many of us. I don't know, I still kind of feel like that's the way to go. But, the sticks will take forever in your compost to break down, just saying. So a lot of people don't, but again, leaf matter, the grass layers, the comfreys, the alfalfa, all that. Worms, green light grabs worms up, and I know there's a bunch on this path down here. Whenever it rains, those are great for the soil and great to put just at the base of your compost, and they'll help break it down and aerate everything, and they'll thrive. You can have yourself a little worm farm at the base of it. It's pretty cool. There's a whole lot going on. There's a whole lot of things you could add, mycelium and bacteria and all kinds of stuff, especially if you want to keep it from getting moldy. You can come out and water it. Some people water their compost piles to help it break down faster. And I feel like it might help with the heat. Some of the stuff with the layering too, really, it helps it get hot so things like the rodents and bugs won't be such an issue. As it's breaking down, it releases all this heat. And in OKC, Oklahoma City, we're getting the compost from Whole Foods and a few different places that would just send us every apple with a hole in it or a spot or whatever. It was great. We get trailer loads of that stuff and pile it up with wood chips, layers of wood chips, and that was a big part of their thing, was that the proper layering would produce the heat, and then it wouldn't be attracting rodents because it was in a very urban setting, and the neighbors were often not thrilled about it. But if you do it right, it should not smell bad. Don't put any meat, don't put any dairy, put vegetables and stuff, real stuff. Kind of the thing, but no animals. It's gonna stink and attract bugs and stuff. But if you do it right, we had massive bunches, mountainous piles of it, and just not much smell if you do it right at all. And it was pretty cool. I got a friend out there, Terry, who's got a business doing that now, getting extras stuff from businesses and from people and putting that to use. I'm trying to think of the name of his company. It's Down to Earth or some such. I'll find out. Maybe we'll make a video. I rode around with him in the spring. It was cool. He's doing that now. And so if you're, just to say too, if you're interested in a way to give back some of those nutrients to the earth and help us stay a little more sustainable, but you don't have the space, you live in an apartment somewhere, what are you going to do with that? That's a thing now. Some people will just come gather and they give you a container and they give you these biodegradable bags, put your food matter, and they'll come pick it up and go put it to use in a garden somewhere. And there's some people having some pretty amazing gardens with all of our leftovers and scraps, which I think that's amazing. I'm excited for that. That's been a hard thing in the 21st century industrial paradigm and big cities, and so much waste, and just so many nutrients going into the trash pile to become toxic and getting out of the system and out of the soil, out of the gardens, into the trash pile. If we can, separate some of that and get more of that going back in, that's going to be great for everyone, I feel like. And if you're feeling like that, I'm sure, look it up. I don't know if they got it where you're at, but we're working on it. And if not, maybe you could be one of those people. It's a pretty cool thing. So thanks to Terry and all the wonderful people making that happen. Composting. Do we get it? Do we get it all? Pile the stuff up, layer it, let it break down. It's gonna take a while. It's like one of those many things in the gardening process. It will teach you patience. You can't rush it. You just gotta let it take its time. It's like hanging out with me. That a lot of people have said you'll either learn great patience or madness. And it's just gonna take a while, but totally worth the process. And you'll end up with this rich, black, fluffy, soft, just incredible dirt when you're done. During the process, you don't want to mess with it so much, but when it's done, it's just incredible. This like black gold kind of stuff. But it's all just, cycles of death and decay. It's how we make the new gardens. It's how we make the next generation. It's like the bones of the ancestors. And all this dead, useless, brittle, lifeless stuff, and just take it and pile it, let it break down. It's good meditation. Good practice, I feel like, in the garden. So finally getting there. Thought we'd get there sooner. Here we are. Ground floor compost. You don't have to have a whole lot of space to get it done. Right here on the side of the 99. But worth it if you got it.